Hi, I'm going to talk about a couple items from today's gaming news. One is how the MCU is on hold because of the current COVID-19 pandemic and how video games are picking up the slack. There's a Entertainment Weekly article about it, and it has some interview tidbits from writer of Spider-Man and Insomniac, as well as the Marvel Avengers game by Square Enix. They say these games are going to pick up the slack for the lack of movie theaters being opened because that's basically what Disney's main money generator is. Um, my take on it is video games have been booming since the beginning of the pandemic. You can't really find consoles in the wild that much anymore. But we'll see how long this pandemic lasts. I'm not sure when. Nobody knows. It's like a dark cloud lingering on everyone's head in the world. But I can see this as an opportunity for a lot more experimentation with these licensed games because one, smaller developers need work. You could just have them maybe work on like a double A title or a mobile game. I know I'm not a fan of mobile games, but that's just throwing ideas out. And I could play. You could look at the link, the Entertainment Weekly link down below in the description. You could also see that the screenshot that's my thumbnail is a single screenshot that's from that article from EW. Second thing that interested me today was this little video panel on GameIndustry.biz about why we haven't seen any Bond games in the last 10 years. They do bring up a good point about how MGM, Danjak, basically has to have the final say in what could be approved in a Bond game. I do remember there was a video by minimme who reviewed the Quantum of Solace game that was done by Treyarch, and they were under a lot of restrictions during the game, so they couldn't really freshen up the gameplay. So one of the main factors you probably haven't seen a Bond game is how Bond is depicted. He isn't your typical grunt soldier. He's supposed to use gadgets and his own wits to get out of situations. Uh, like my take would be like actually getting IO Interactive to do it, because basically James Bond is a hitman, right? And you go to these luxurious places and kill a supervillain in pretty much every movie. And the Hitman is basically a James Bond simulator, and if we could have Bond do that, maybe make the game a bit more cinematic and a little bit more accessible. Unfortunately, uh, some people I don't like too dumbed down, but accessible enough where you get newer players maybe look at this title and they're like, hey, look, there's a game that's like that, Hitman, and you'll get you'll get them to play the more hardcore version, which is the Hitman games. You also had to deal with licensed games in terms of it lining up with the movie. That was a big problem in the '90s, 2000s. An infamous example is Enter the Matrix, which was shipped with a lot of bugs. You could literally just clip through walls and had a lot of compatibility issues at launch. So this was the day before getting one patches, and it wasn't a good look. They had to rush it out, and unfortunately, that's how the business works. You have to balance the schedule and budget to get it out on time, or else your publisher will shut you down, and cancel the project, and even maybe close down the studio if it looks like they're lacking in profit. And lastly, there was a recent incident with Epic where Fortnite was been taken out of the Apple App Store because V Bucks, and then you get them directly from Epic as opposed to the Apple Store, just bypassing the middleman, and they didn't like it, and it's kind of looks like they're rejecting Apple's walled garden approach to how MTX is handled. I mean, I did talk about yesterday how Sony handles that handles this stuff usually, and you're seeing the bad side of it right now. It's also affecting Microsoft with their xCloud service, which is tied to Game Pass, which allows you to stream your library onto a mobile device such as a phone and tablet. And and that's always been a problem with Apple products. You really can't modify anything, or if it's something that's on a competitive system, it doesn't line up with their I know with their company's policies. They'll immediately close it out. So I kind of a fan, more of a fan of like Android platforms, and when Sony had like a Linux support on their systems, and I do appreciate that you can put in an internal device in the PS3 through PS5, which is a very pro-consumer move instead of having to buy a proprietary connector, which is unfortunately something you'll have to do with the Series X. And finally, I'm just going to do some general housekeeping. Please like this video, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I have a text review for Relic coming on PlayStationHaven.com. And I'll see you in the next video. Later.